day, time just stopped. No warning, no explosion, no message on your phone telling you something was wrong. Just silence. 1 second, everything was normal. People were walking down the street, talking, laughing, checking their phones. Cars were moving, engines humming, the city alive with noise and motion. And then, in the very next second, everything froze, not slowed down, not paused like a video. Frozen. A man crossing the street, stuck mid-step, his foot hanging in the air, never touching the ground. A bird flying above, wings stretched open, motionless against the sky. A drop of rain, suspended in mid-air, like a tiny piece of glass. The wind stopped. The sound disappeared. Even the smallest movement was gone. And in the middle of all this, there was only one thing still moving: you. At first, you didn't understand. You looked around, confused. You called out to people, "Hey, what's going on?" But no one answered. You walked closer. You waved your hand in front of someone's face. Nothing. Their eyes didn't blink. Their chest didn't rise. Their body didn't react. It was like they had been turned into statues. But they weren't stone. They were real. Just trapped. You stepped back, your heart racing. Is this a dream? You whispered to yourself. But it didn't feel like a dream. Everything was too real, too detailed, too quiet. You started walking faster, then running. Through the streets, past frozen cars, drivers locked in place. A woman dropping her bag, items floating in the air beside her, never falling. You reached out and touched a coffee cup mid-fall. It didn't move. It didn't fall. It just stayed there. Even the clouds above you weren't moving. That's when it hit you. This wasn't a moment. This wasn't a glitch. Time itself had stopped. Hours passed, or at least it felt like hours. But without time, how do you measure anything? There was no sun moving, no shadows changing, no clocks ticking, just endless stillness. You screamed as loud as you could, but your voice echoed strangely, like the world wasn't responding anymore. You walked into buildings, opened doors, searched for any sign of life, but everywhere you went, it was the same. Frozen people, frozen moments, a frozen world. You sat down, breathing heavily. In a world full of people, you had never felt so alone. Days passed, or maybe weeks. You stopped trying to count. There was no point. Hunger still came. Sleep still came. But nothing else changed. You started talking to yourself, just to hear a voice. Because deep down, you knew something wasn't right. Why were you still moving? Why you? Then one day, something changed. A door, slightly open. You were sure it had been closed before. Your heart started beating faster. You stepped closer, slowly. Inside, everything looked the same, frozen, silent. But then, you saw it. A chair, slightly moved, dust disturbed, footprints, not yours. You froze. You weren't alone. You followed the signs until finally you saw them. Another person, alive, moving, looking straight at you. You can move too. Together, you searched for answers. Maybe it was a glitch, maybe something beyond science. Then one day, You found it, a place that felt different. The air was heavy, strange, and in the center of it, a distortion, like reality itself was cracked. You stepped closer and felt it. A pulse, a heartbeat. Time wasn't gone. It was broken. And somehow, you had slipped outside of it. Then suddenly, a sound, a breath, a heartbeat. The world shook. And then, time started again. The bird flew, the rain fell, the man finished his step. Everything continued, as if nothing had happened. But you stood there, knowing the truth. For you, it wasn't a second. It was an eternity. You looked around, searching for the other person, but they were gone. And one question remained. Did time stop for everyone? Or were you never supposed to move at all?